This is Inside Mside, your favorite podcast for all things Morningside. Hear stories from students, alumni, faculty, and more about what makes the Morningside experience so special.
Hello and welcome into the latest edition of the Inside Mside podcast. Wherever you're listening or watching, we appreciate you on YouTube or wherever you get your podcasts. We thank you so much for joining us. Coming up in this episode, we're going to talk some sports and specifically fall sports. All the seasons, cross country does start this week, but everybody else is fully engaged into the regular seasons, and we'll hear from coaches and student athletes from football, women's volleyball, men's soccer, women's soccer, and of course, women's and men's cross country as we celebrate the athletics here at Morningside University. We'll start off with the football team, and as we're recording this, they're already one game into their season. Unfortunately, a 38-34 loss to Benedictine last week, but it is Briar Cliff week, so the focus will still be sharp, will still be there as the Mustangs go across town to face the Chargers at 1 o'clock this Saturday at Memorial Field. Before the season started, however, we heard from Coach Steve Ryan, who was named this past spring as the AFCA NAIA Coach of the Year for the 12th time. And we'll hear from quarterback Zach Chevalier and defensive back Cade Harriman. Chevalier threw for nearly 4,700 yards last year, and if we include his stats from Saturday, he's nearly at 5,000 yards as a Mustang, so he's off to a really good start this year. And the defense performed well on Saturday as well, anchored by Cade Harriman, who had 98 tackles last season, and of course, Cale Pitcher on that defensive line, having 11.5 tackles for loss. He had 2.5 in the season opener on Saturday against Benedictine. So without further ado, here's Coach Ryan, Zach Chevalier, and Cade Harriman.
One, I always think it, I guess from a spiritual standpoint, how well we come together as a team. One of the things when I just mentioned a number of guys that can do things with the ball in their hands, we don't have enough balls to put them in their hands. So their willingness to work together and to do those things, the ability for the defense to come together. There's no Johnny Walls, there's no Isaac Pingle, so there probably isn't a superstar on the defense, but there's a lot of really good players that can make each other superstars if they play together. So I always think, it's that. And then can we make turnovers and not turn the ball over?
You have to earn the right to play here. Our off seasons are incredibly tough. And so it's not just so that we can prove to the coaches how tough we are. We have to prove to each other how tough we are. And when we're going through the things that we go through in the off season, we're looking to our left, we're looking to our right, and we're seeing our brothers next to us fighting, struggling next to us, picking each other up. And so just in my off seasons here, they have been harder than any other program I've been a part of. So you find out really quickly who's going to give up on you and who's going to be next to you in the heat of the battle. So we figure all that out in the off season before we even play August 30th. I think that's one of our biggest weapons is how deep we are. We have a lot of running backs we trust. We have a lot of receivers we trust, a lot of alignment and J-backs. And so I think down the line, every single man knows their job and they'll be ready when they're called upon.
You grow up close by. You always are kind of hearing on the news and whatnot how dominant of a program they've been. And, when Coach Ryan started reaching out to me when I was, junior, senior in high school, I pretty much knew from day one that I want to be part of a championship program and somewhere where, they were going to do things right. And it just fit seamlessly. It was a no-brainer for me to come here and, just compete, get better, and, enjoy the college experience.
And a couple notables on that football schedule include the Saturday's game against Briar Cliff at Memorial Field. They're off next week, and then the home opener September 20th against Midland, and homecoming October 4th at home against the Waldorf Warriors. For a complete schedule, stats, all that good stuff, head to msidemustangs.com to learn more. Next up is the women's volleyball team. They're 9 matches into their season so far. They're 5-4, just coming off a national tournament appearance, their 10th in program history. They lost 10 seniors from that national tournament team last year, but that didn't faze them at all as they have young ladies who are stepping up and blocking, hitting, setting. They're doing all those things, and they're off to a good start this season with that 5-4 record. In this interview, you'll listen to 2011 graduate and head coach Jessica Squire, and you'll also listen to Peyton Lodi and Adeline Harris.
It's for us, it's not just about, getting in volleyball shape or volleyball form. It's making sure that culturally we're setting a good standard for on the court and off the court. And I really like the direction that we're headed so far. I think we're actually pretty ahead in a lot of the aspects of on the court and off the court than where we've been in the past. I don't know if I've ever seen a team as hungry as these guys are. Like in spring, it was like getting in the gym, doing conditioning, doing our agility, doing just small groups or team practice, and the scrimmages that we did, they were out to show, just because we lost that many seniors doesn't matter. We're still elevating our culture and elevating our team. So they're very hungry.
But this freshman class has really been pushing everyone and honestly, testing what we thought was, competitiveness, and they just bring a whole nother thing to it. We've just gotten to a further point way faster than we have in the past. We've just been getting past all these little baby steps, and we're already jumping to bigger and better things.
It's more game-like. When you're getting on each other and you're arguing about a touch or it's out or whatever it is, it's just a lot more fun. It makes the arousal level a little bit higher, which I don't know, it's just fun. You get a different type of aspect of gameplay.
Now let's shift our focus back outside to the pitch for the men's soccer team, who are the GPAC favorite as voted on in the coaches preseason poll a few weeks ago. They were the regular season champions last season, but unfortunately fell to Hastings in the GPAC semifinals of the tournament, and that's right where they want to be. Actually, they want to go farther. Not only do they want to win the regular season championship, they also want the tournament championship, and here's head coach Tom Maxson to talk a little bit more about that.
So we're determined again in this year, without adding anybody to the conference, to not only win the conference but also win the tournament. So it really means nothing if you have a great year. Winning the GPAC is great, and that is great for local purposes and all, but we want to go to the national tournament and actually get out of the first round. A couple of years ago, we went to the second round, but we've never gone to the final site. We've gone to the second round only. So we've got a lot of goals to achieve, and we've got a really great group of seniors, and we've got a great young group.
I mean, it's really nice. It's a special experience. Not everybody gets to experience. I think more than a team, we one family. We live together, we eat together, we train together, we play together, we do everything as one. And yeah.
They have a couple home games in the next couple weeks. Again, head to msidemustangs.com to look at their schedule. The women's soccer team also has big goals coming into the fall. They were voted 4th in the GPAC preseason poll, and that's basically right where they finished last year, losing in the GPAC semifinals. But they have a lot of newbies as well. But to associate head coach Jackie Martinez, that's not a bad thing.
A bunch of girls brought about 18, 19 girls in. Half of those, about 8 of them, are transfer girls from junior colleges, strong players. We already see now that they're going to make a difference for us as well, along with our returning players and our leaders. And I think along with what some of the boys were saying, and Tom, this is one program. So our women and our men are definitely on the same path, but our tactics are a little bit different. The men, they figured out what works for them pretty early on. I think just in this week, we've kind of turned our tactical thinking on. The girls are starting to catch on with what we're doing, the new girls, and the older girls are helping them, paving the way for them as well.
And here's senior Melissa Tatiris, one of the few seniors on this roster, to talk a little bit more about what the competition has been like in the preseason.
I think we are a larger group this year, which for sure will benefit us. We have a bunch of transfer students, like Jackie talked about, so that's for sure going to help us. They are already experienced with college soccer, and we have a bunch of freshmen coming in as well. So we have a lot of new people that I think are really strong, and Jackie already said it, but a bunch of people can play this year. I bet 18 players for sure will play, and we have a really strong group this year, so I think it's going to help us succeed.
We'll combine both the men's and women's cross-country teams right here as we close this episode out of the Inside Mside podcast here on YouTube, or if you're listening on the audio sides as well. We'll start with the women's side. Courtney Sporer, she was a national qualifier last year in cross-country and, of course, in track. She's the lead runner for a women's team who has high hopes, and they have a lot of women out this fall too. I was at their practice a couple weeks ago, and they look poised and ready to go for the August Standard Twilight meet. Their lone home event is October 4th. Well, not really a home event, but it's in North Sioux City. It's Spread Eclipse home event, but it is in the metro. So go out and check them out before you come over here on campus to take in homecoming festivities.
I would say it takes the consistency. Cross country is one of those sports where you have to be consistent with everything that you do. Even when you feel like taking those days off, you have to be able to get that mileage in and know what's in front of you, essentially. It's a tough sport mentally and physically, so being able to stay on top of your mental game as well. And my assistant, he does a really good job on being able to have them prepared for those meets. As I said, every course that we step on is different. It can be a flat course for one meet, and the next course you're running up a 400-meter hill to finish. So when you're looking at a flat course, kids are like, okay, mentally this is a little bit easier. And then you get to a tough one, and they're like, I may want to back off, but it's something that you, once again, if you're consistent with what you do, recovery, training, mental aspect, and each year you'll get better.
Man, 10 years ago, to see what the program has gone through, to see the hurdles and the obstacles that we have had to face in the conference in terms of like sometimes a lack of ability with only having one full-time coach. A lot of times, like when I tell people that I'm full-time, they're like, hey, congrats, that's good for you. And I'm like, no, like this is great for the program and this is going to help the program so much. So I'm still a little starstruck at times that it is a reality just because for more than 20 years it seems so far away, but I'm really excited just for what the future holds and to help this program get to where we have been and to where I know we can be once again.
This is probably one of the best years like to start like team wise, like it feels like a family. I'm not gonna lie. Like last night we were all just like 12 people just in a house. We had a great time because 4 of them I didn't even know a week ago, and now a couple of them are really good friends of mine already.
Yeah, I've upped my mileage this summer by quite a bit. I have been hitting quite a few 50-mile weeks, so I'm very proud of that. I feel like I have a good base going into this cross-country season. So I'm hoping myself and our team, our girls team, can qualify for nationals. And nationals is in Florida again, which is where it was my freshman year. So I'm really excited to hopefully run on that course with a group of girls. So
that'll do it for this edition of the Inside Mside podcast here on YouTube or your favorite audio streaming platform. Make sure to listen to other episodes or watch other episodes at your leisure. For the University Engagement staff, Sports Director Nick Booth, I'm Communication and Athletic Information Specialist Zach James. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Inside Mside. We'll talk to you next time.